Transmite en su canal de frecuencia modulada estereofónica multiplex La Voz Radio, desde New Haven, Connecticut, al mundo.
Hello, this is Norma Rodríguez-Reyes, your host in K-PASA, and you're listening to us via WNHH 103.5 FM, La Voz Hispana Radio from downtown New Haven, and we're also streaming live via La Voz Hispana, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Today we have with us a special guest, and his name is Gabriel, better known as Gabe Sacco. He is an interdisciplinary artist who performs for videos, sound, images, and writing. Gabriel's from New Jersey and graduated from Fairfield University with a BA in International Studies and Politics. He lives in Shelton and holds an MFA in Visual Arts from Rutgers Mason Gross School of Arts. Gabriel's an educator, learner, and worker who develops ideas surrounding social responsibilities and the role of usefulness in art making, anti-racial pedagogy, and generative and sustainable production models for artists. Cooking, sewing, and gardening influences Gabe's practice as an inheritance of the deceased. Okay? And we're going to be talking about Open Source, which is a visual arts festival where Connecticut artists invite us into their studios or temporary spaces to share their creative process and network with other artists in the area. Gabe, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much to you and La Voz for having me. I'm better known in New Haven as the visual culture producer who works at ArtSpace. So this is my first big project, and I'm really excited to be working at Open Source this year. Yeah.
So you're basically the one who puts it all together, huh?
Yeah, one of them. I work also with Lisa Dent, our director, and the director of curatorial affairs, Laurel McLaughlin at ArtSpace.
Right. So tell us, what is Open Source?
Yeah, so thanks for asking. Open Source is previously known as Citywide Open Studios, as many long-term New Havenites might know it as. It gathers artists, curators, cultural producers, organizers, audiences across the city. So we invite patrons to come as well, not just people signing up. And this year, our theme is In Common Spaces, and it just takes the idea of art space as a shared space for visual arts to include the collective experience of communion in spaces beyond gallery walls. So sort of expanding what our gallery does into, the city and the streets of New Haven.
So it's no longer going to be open space anymore. So now we're going to change. We're going to do a new branding. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, so that's the biggest change that I think everyone is noticing is the branding. But I do want to say that we're still hosting open studios for the first weekend and the second weekend. And those artist registration is closed, but all of those artists registered, and they will be open between 10 and 5 on the 22nd and 23rd of October, and 10 and 5 on the 29th and 30th of October as well.
Okay. So what are some of the main activities that everyone can participate in?
Yeah, so this year we're sort of, as mentioned, expanding what Open Studios is. So it kind of brings the festival into and shares practices of the artists with community members. So this year we're hosting 4 workshops that are every week afternoon from 3 to 5. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 5. Those are located at ArtSpace. So they're labeled drop-in workshops. You don't have to register. You can just drop in and stop by. And we'll have workshops in spray painting, tagging with Harv Locus. Sculpture workshop. It's titled Building a Social Construct with Faustin Adeniran. And that'll be on Tuesday the 25th from 3 to 5. and an artist, Clemenza Hawkins from Hamden, will be doing a collaging workshop. It's titled Identifying the Collage on the 26th. And a performance workshop by Corey Kuhlman titled Last Chance for a Slow Dance. And that'll be on Thursday, the 27th from 3 to 5.
So where is this going to be taking place? What's the address where all this is going to be happening?
Yeah, so thank you for asking. That's a really good question. Our workshops are happening at 50 Orange Street. That's in New Haven. That's the address of Art Space. There's a few other addresses I'll just plug real quick. On 49 Crown Street in New Haven, that's the informational hub of Open Source 2022. So we'll have lots of signs to let people know, but that's where you can drop by and just find most of our publications, flyers that people have produced, information about open source. You can get all of that there. And then there are some locations, exhibitions throughout the city as well.
Okay. So how many artists are involved in this?
This year, this year we have about 200 artists participating. Whoa. Yeah, it's a big number. Since the start of the pandemic, we've been trying to grow back the numbers. So this year is the biggest since then. And we have about 20 or so allied organizations throughout New Haven that are participating and opening their doors as part of open source as well.
So is there going to be an opportunity to meet some of these artists?
Yeah, that's the biggest opportunity there is, I think, is the, networking opportunities to meet artists, to go into the studios, to really ask questions about art. No question is too small. You can meet the artists. There's opportunities to buy art as well in studios. So I know a lot of artists are selling their work for that week.
Wow. So tell us about the Kickoff Party.
Yeah, so we're hosting 2 Kickoff Parties. One will be on the 21st from 6 to 8 at East Rock. That's Friday the 21st. And that's East Rock Brewing Company and Beer Hall, and that is the cost. It's a fundraising event, so it's $25, and you could find all this on our calendar, artspacenewhaven.org, and we're having a special guest, Team Montgomery, come and present a fashion exhibition. So all are welcome. Again, $25 at the door, and on the 28th, on Friday the 28th, we'll have our Westville Kickoff Party, and that's at Bloom in Westville. And that is also $25 fundraising event. And for that event, Something Projects, curated by, it's a collective with curators Howard El Yassin and Susan Shutan. They'll be presenting an exhibition throughout that week as well.
So that's really great. Is there any thing geared towards like students?
Yeah.
Tell us about.
Yeah.
Do they do educational workshops or
yes.
like geared towards the school population?
Yeah, so a lot of our drop-in workshops, which I mentioned previously, we do get a lot of students for those. So that's really exciting. It's kind of based for all levels, and we're not requiring any sign-ups or anything, so everyone's welcome, including high school students and younger. We also have, for art practitioners, we're hosting a writing workshop, and I'll be running one of those. So the writing workshops are based around both storytelling, so kind of figuring out how to tell your story in your art practice. That'll be with Nico Whedon, and then Ifai Michelle Gardine is speaking on how to organize workflows, and then I'll be speaking on how to write artist statements and pitches. So kind of more professional development workshops instead of art making workshops. So we're really trying to give this well-rounded arts education as well. There is a how to conduct a studio visit with Nico Whedon. That's on October 20th from 6 to 7 p.m. on Zoom. And then there's another really interesting workshop with Clara Liu. It's called Using Instagram as Marketing for Professional Artists, which may very much appeal to younger demographics and art makers. That's on the 19th from 6 to 7 as well, and all on Zoom, and that's sort of just learning how to use Instagram as marketing for professional development.
That's and especially for the younger generation that, they can really deal with that. I think a lot of times the older individuals that have been in the world of arts, they kind of need to learn how to do the entire social media stuff in order for them to really. So I think the intergenerational would really help a lot, you know, because when you have somebody that definitely already does their art, but then now you need somebody to help them learn how to sell their art.
Yes.
And really get it together. So I think that's a wonderful idea. Especially like students now that, maybe are kind of thinking about going into the arts. I think this definitely is an excellent opportunity for them to come in and see all the different areas so that they can kind of see which ones they would kind of like to get involved in, huh?
Right, yeah, and that's something that we're really thinking about when producing this festival. Is the theme this year is In Common Spaces, so it's really about bringing, demographics together, different demographics together, whether it's age, race, working with the City of New Haven's Cultural Equity Plan to sort of bring these groups together and just be able to learn from each other, really, and not just about plugging our own individual practices, but really coming together and see how we can collaborate to make art as big as it can be in New Haven.
Thank you, Gabe. I just want to remind everyone that you're listening to WNHH 103.5 FM. K-PASA, Norma Rodríguez-Reyes, your host, and we want to thank the Cornell Scott Hill Hall Center, a community of caring, for hosting this program for us, for sponsoring this program. Thank you so much. So we have with us Gabe Sacco, and he is an interdisciplinary artist who performs for video, sound, images, and writing. So that's definitely a lot of different areas we're doing here, right?
Yes, yeah, of course.
So tell us a little bit of how you got into this, and how do you feel about this entire thing that you're pretty much orchestrating with a whole bunch of other people, right?
Yeah. So I graduated originally with a degree in international studies and politics, and went on to understand how I can activate that practice sort of more on a grassroots level, which brought me to art making and thinking about public space and thinking about how to serve people who really are underrepresented as artists. And so I just started, or maybe you don't know, but I just started in June. So I'm fairly new to the position, but, it really felt like a good fit and a great project to kind of understand how, and to really activate my practice and how I can share and sort of bring people together as an organizer through the arts.
So cooking, sewing, and gardening influenced Gabriel's practice as an inheritance of the deceased. Explain that to me, please.
Sure. Yeah. So that's a really great question. I think a lot about where we come from and how we're managed as people, and these are things that I really enjoy as hobbies, but also realize that they are the most important things that my family holds in a high regard and as identifiers for what our family does. And I think that showing that as part of my practice is a way of really tapping into the intergenerationality and epigenerationality of inheriting practice and inheriting an art practice too. We all do things for a reason, and it's noticing the reason for doing those things, I think, is really important.
Well, I just want to remind everyone that this open space, right?
Open source.
Or open source, that's right. Is going to be taking place 9 days from Friday to Sunday. and it's going to be throughout the entire city of New Haven, different areas, as he mentioned. But where is it that you can go and find out even more information on this for those that are interested?
So on 49 Crown Street, it's a carriage house, and the doors will be open, and that's right sort of across the street from Art Space. And we'll have informational hubs there. We'll have, that is our informational hub. We'll have print publications on where to access all of these studios. So you can, grab one of those and then walk around the city and find new locations. We'll also have flyers there that our exhibitions have printed and distributed. Yeah.
You know, New Haven is really, really blessed because it has a very large cultural city and, with the restaurants and with the arts. But the 49 Crown Street is a really nice, it's a really not, for those of you that are listening that have never been, you should make it a point to go to 49 Crown Street because it's really a nice place.
Please,
that they can go there and get all the information that they need about open source.
Right, yes. Yeah, so it's right close by to Art Space. So if you're stopping by, please stop by in Art Space too at 50 Orange Street in New Haven.
Yes. And for more information, you can go to artspacenewhaven.org.
Correct,
right?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. Wish you the best, and we're glad that New Haven has you.
Thanks so much, Norma. It's such a pleasure to be on La Voz, and looking forward to seeing you all at Open Source this year.
Thank you. Well, this is your host, Norma Rodríguez-Reyes, and el show K-PASA. Until next time, health, money, and love, and plenty of time to enjoy it. Thank you. Meet the Bankers. This free in-person networking event for existing and emerging small business owners will allow you to connect with many bankers and community lenders. Learn about available bank products, services, and programs for your business. Introduce yourself to lenders. Make connections to benefit the growth of your business. Wednesday, October 12th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at Gateway Community College, 20 Church Street, New Haven, Connecticut. Free parking at the Temple Street Garage. This event is sponsored by the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven.
Me vieron a mí, no mi adicción. Fueron honestos conmigo.
Dijeron que no sería fácil, no me dejaron rendirme.
El equipo de trabajo fue generoso y compasivo. Fueron firmes cuando necesitaron serlo.
Aprovecha la oportunidad, cree en ti mismo. Si usted, un miembro de su familia o un amigo está sufriendo de adicción al opio, llame a nuestra línea de ayuda para tratamiento de Suboxone de Cornell Scott Hillhouse Center al 203-503-3755. Tenemos clínicas localizadas en New Haven y Ansonia.
WNHH 103.5 La voz hispana de Connecticut.
Muy buenas tardes, esta es Norma Rodríguez-Reyes en el show ¿Qué pasa? Usted nos está escuchando a través de WNHH 103.5 FM desde Downtown New Haven y estamos también en Facebook, YouTube y Twitter. Y quiero darle las gracias a nuestro auspiciador, el Cornell Scott Hillhouse Center, a Community of Caring, por auspiciar esta parte del programa. Hoy tenemos con nosotros a Gabriel Sacco. Él es un artista interdisciplinario que actúa para videos, sonidos, imágenes y escritura. Gabriel es de New Jersey y se graduó de la Universidad de Fairfield con una licenciatura en Estudios Internacionales y Política. Tiene una maestría en Artes Visuales de la Escuela de Artes Rutgers Mason Gross. Gabriel es un educador, aprendiz y trabajador que desarrolla ideas en torno a la responsabilidad social y el papel de utilizar en la creación artística, la pedagogía antirracial, los modelos de producción generativo y sostenible para artistas. La cocina, la costura y la jardinería influyen en las prácticas de Gabriel como herencia que ha recibido. Gracias, Gabriel, por estar hoy con nosotros. Gabriel no habla nada de español, así que ustedes van a tener que tener un poquito de paciencia porque él tiene muy bueno. De lo que él va a hablar hoy es muy importante, especialmente para las personas en el mundo del arte, que son del mundo del arte o esos que están pensando en envolverse en el mundo de las artes, ¿ok? So, Gabriel, please tell us what it is that open source is all about. Cuéntanos sobre qué es lo que open source, el festival de open source, de qué se trata.
So this year, Artspace New Haven's 2022 Open Source Art Festival gathers artists, curators, culture producers, organizers, audiences all across the city to come and just convene around a shared artistic process of experimentation. We're sort of bringing this year beyond the festival beyond gallery walls into the community. So we have exhibitions throughout the city, open studios in different locations throughout the city, and then we also have exhibitions at Artspace too.
Okay. So, Open Source es un festival de artes visuales donde los artistas de Connecticut nos invitan a sus estudios o espacios temporales para compartir su proceso creativo y establecer contactos con otros profesionales de las artes del área. El Festival de Arte es código abierto, es en espacio abierto de Artspace New Haven, y eso reúne a los artistas, a los curadores, a los productores culturales, a organizadores y a audiencias de toda la ciudad de New Haven para reunirse en torno al proceso artístico compartidos y experimentación. La interacción de otoño de 2022 recién imaginada en Common Spaces, ¿ok? So, es importante porque todo este proceso va a tomar espacio desde octubre 21 hasta el 30, que es viernes hasta domingo. Son 9 días en la cual uno puede participar. So, can you tell us a little bit about what are some of the main activities that everyone can participate in? ¿Cuáles son la mayoría de las actividades en las cuales todas las personas pueden participar?
Yeah, so thank you. So we have exhibitions throughout the city that, everyone can go and see, but we also have workshops. So making workshops that are free and open to the public, wheelchair accessible, no registration required. They're just called drop-in workshops.
Okay. Le voy a pedir que yo quiero traducir lo que él me está diciendo, y así que no me puedo memorizar todo eso, así que le estoy pidiendo que por favor corte un poquito para yo entonces decir lo que le está diciendo, ¿ok? So, tenemos exhibiciones a través de la ciudad que son gratis, so todas las personas pueden asistir. También tienen talleres y estos talleres son gratis. Continue.
And then we'll have drop-in workshops. We have a drop-in tagging workshop, so spray painting, a drop-in sculpture workshop with Faustina Denorin, a collaging workshop with Clemenza Hawkins, and a performance workshop, a movement workshop called Last Chance for a Slow Dance with Corey Kuhlman.
So, tiene en la cual se le va a enseñar a pintar a través de spray paint, a pintar utilizando ese taller va a ser de eso. Y todos estos talleres uno está aprendiendo porque los profesores son muy, muy cualificados y ustedes aprenden diferentes destrezas que pueden utilizar. Entonces también hacen collages, el último baile, movimiento que se le enseña y también escultura. Tienen 4 diferentes talleres en la cual las personas pueden asistir y estos talleres son gratis. Okay.
So all of these are going to be available Monday through Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. and they'll take place at Art Space New Haven on 50 Orange Street.
Okay. Y estos van a suceder desde lunes hasta jueves, desde las 3 hasta las 5, en el sitio que se llama Art Space New Haven, en el 50 de Orange Street. Okay.
And then, so all of these are, based around making, but then we also understand that artists need more than, their practice. So we're also holding some professional development workshops as well.
Okay. Todo esto tiene que ver con hacer. Usted va a tener la oportunidad de hacer, ¿ok? Pero también nos damos cuenta que muchos de los artistas necesitan un poquito más. So they need, that artists need a little bit more. And what was the word that you said?
So professional development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sí, el desarrollo profesional es muy importante. Y usted va a tener la oportunidad de ver y ver cómo uno puede desarrollar y ser más profesional.
So yeah, 3 of the workshops we're holding that have to do with professional development or how to conduct a studio visit with Nico Whedon. That will be on October 20th from 6 to 7 p.m. That's on our calendar, so it's just before open source.
So when you say how to conduct a visit to a studio, what does that entail? Because I'm not visualizing what it means as a layperson that's not in the world of arts.
Of course, yeah. So when somebody comes into your studio, you want to treat them as they for what they need, So how do you sell your work? How do you talk about your work concisely and sort of have it be a full picture of what represents you as an artist?
Okay, entonces los artistas muchas veces necesitan ciertas destrezas y una de las destrezas que van es cómo desarrollar técnicas para enseñar el estudio de uno, ¿ok? Cómo hablarle a las personas, ¿ok? Y entonces, así cuando tú vas a enseñar tu arte, tú estás haciéndolo en una forma más profesional. Y eso es muy importante. Van a aprender esa destreza, ¿ok? The studio, and the other one is?
So then we have using Instagram as a professional, for marketing for professional artists. So that's with Clara Liu. That's also before open source on October 19th from 6 to 7. And
Ok, la otra es utilizando, los artistas van a tener la oportunidad de aprender cómo utilizar Instagram para cómo promover y mercadear su producto. Okay?
So yeah, that's just basically similarly using Instagram as your studio to sort of help people understand most about yourself, how to articulate yourself through this marketing platform.
So, cómo utilizar esta plataforma de mercadeo para promover lo que uno está vendiendo. Y usted va a tener esa oportunidad de aprender y no le va a costar ni un penny, ¿ok? Ni una plata, ni un centavo, ¿ok? They're all free, right?
Yes, all free and open to the public. We do have one more in person at Art Space, 50 Orange Street. That's on Tuesday, so this is during the week of open source. Tuesday, October 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. And this is a writing workshop with Ife Michelle Gardin and Nico Whedon and myself. And we'll focus on storytelling, organizing workflows, and writing artist statements as well. So this is another workshop that's in addition to an artist practice of making.
Okay. Y otra de las que van a tener de la ¿cómo se llaman eso? Que van a tener, usted va a tener una oportunidad de aprender cómo escribir, ¿ok? En ese workshop y cómo contar la historia. Y eso es muy importante porque tenemos mucha de nuestra gente que le encantan escribir. Y tú sabes que si tú no escribes tu historia, otra persona la va a escribir. Y la va a escribir de una perspectiva muy diferente que si tú la estuvieras escribiendo. Y esto es para los artistas, pero a la misma vez le ayuda a uno escribir, especialmente describir el arte que uno está tratando de vender. So, estas 3 destrezas que ustedes van a aprender es muy importante. So, aunque no tengan la oportunidad de asistir, si no tienen la oportunidad de asistir, yo sé que van a poder buscar esta información. Okay, I was just commenting that it would be great if they can be there, but if they're not able to attend, is there any way that they can get more information or where they can go to?
Yeah, so we do have our website, and that's artspacenewhaven.org, and we're hoping to record all of these conversations that we host and post them either on Instagram or on Facebook, so that people do have access to these resources through ArtSpace.
Bueno, para las personas que quieren más información, porque déjame decirte, es mucho de lo que hay y uno tuviera que gastar mucho dinero en estas diferentes talleres, pero es gratuito. Pero aprendan más información a través de artspacenewhaven.org, que en inglés se dice espacio arte, pero tiene que ser en inglés, no lo puede escribir en español porque no va a poder entrar en el website, ¿ok? Pero artspacenewhaven.org. Y eso es, también está en la pantalla, ¿ok? Para que las personas que están interesadas en saber más información. Quiero recordarles que ustedes están escuchándonos a través de WNHH 103.5 FM. Le queremos dar las gracias al Cornell Scott Hill Health Center, nuestro auspiciador de este programa de ¿Qué pasa? Recuérdense, el viernes hasta domingo, desde octubre 21 hasta octubre 30 de este año, usted tiene la oportunidad de envolverse en muchas de las diferentes áreas en las áreas de arte. Así que se llama el nuevo sitio que antes se llamaba ArtSpace, pero ahora se llama Open Source. ¿Ok? Open Source. So is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Thank you so much. No, I just want to invite everyone to come out. Although artist registration closed, this festival is open to the public, so please join us. Opportunities to speak to artists, opportunities to buy art, and just meet new people. So yeah, please come out.
Okay. Bueno, inafortunadamente para los nuevos artistas ya la registración está cerrada, ¿ok? Pero usted va a tener una oportunidad de hablar con los artistas, conocerlo y también comprar su arte si así lo desea. So, although now it's closed, will you be having this again next year? And if so, when is it that new artists or, that if they're interested in participating, what is it that they need to do?
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll have this festival next year as well, hoping all goes to plan. We open registration up in the summer, and then it closes at the end of the summer so that we have time to collate all the information.
Okay. So, aunque ya está cerrado para ahora estamos en otoño, pero durante el año que viene, en el verano, es cuando ellos tienen registración abierta. ¿Ok? Does it cost them anything to be a part of the studio?
Yeah, so it's a $50 registration fee, and if you don't have a studio that you can set up in, we'll provide a studio for you.
Ok, so solamente le cuesta $50 para participar. Y si usted no tiene un estudio, entonces nosotros te proveemos el espacio para el estudio, para que así se pueda entonces ser una de las personas que puede promover sus diferentes artes. So, mainly the art, what are like the majority of the people that show, like what are some of the people what kind of art is it that some of the people can display?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I think it's really open. We really like to keep it as open as possible, so people display things from jewelry, ceramics, paintings, sculpture, photographs. We do have exhibitions throughout the city too, so it ranges from really just tabling to a gallery setting.
Okay, that's wonderful. Bueno, en términos, todo está abierto que se habla de la arte, pero se puede conseguir joyas, cerámica, pintura, escultura, fotografía, que se pueden enseñar en mesas nada más, o también le proveemos estudios si necesita. Así que las personas que en este año no participan, por favor, recuérdense que en el verano es en la cual usted puede participar en esto. Y si no, por favor, vaya si quiere más información a artspacenewhaven.org. Thank you, Gabe, so much for this. This is wonderful, and our people really need to know about these things, and so that they can get involved.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are already plenty that are involved, but I'm sure that this is probably the first time that many will also be hearing it. So I thank you for your time and for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's our goal to really get as many people included, and I'm just so everyone at Artspace is so thankful for the invitation, and looking forward to keeping our lines of communication open.
Bueno, quiero darle las gracias a todos ustedes. Ustedes nos han estado escuchando a través de WNHH 103.5 FM LP en La Voz Hispana Radio, Downtown New Haven, en Facebook, YouTube y Twitter. Y nuevamente quiero darle las gracias al Cornell Scott Hill Health Center, A Community of Caring, por auspiciar esta parte del programa. Se despide de ustedes Norma Rodríguez-Reyes en el show que pasa. Salud, dinero y amor y tiempo para disfrutarlo. Y que vivamos 120 años en buena salud. Gracias.